Over the past couple of weeks, Microsoft has been getting absolutely wrecked by people within the gaming industry. You have thousands of developers who lost their jobs and that are furious that their projects are being canceled. You have gamers being furious over the fact that there are tons of titles that have been delayed multiple times or are now straight up canceled. And even something like Fable, which was supposed to release in 2026 now, sounds like it's not even going to hit that date. But they announced that they were going to start charging $80 for certain games like the Outer Worlds 2. They got absolutely wrecked for it. Now they're actually walking back on this decision, saying, you know what, we're actually the good guys and we're only going to charge $70 for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, going to $80 is an absolutely insane decision to make, especially right now when there are so many people who are financially struggling. And I understand that ultimately, by charging $80, they're trying to push more people to their subscription services like Game Pass, and that's what they want. They want as many people as possible to be paying $20 a month instead of buying $80 games, but they do still need individual sales, and I bet that the combination was not good, that they have to meet certain numbers when it comes to Game Pass subscriptions around the time of an announcement, then when the game launches, but they also have to hit certain pre-order numbers, and I don't think that any of those were looking too hot for them, given they've now changed their mind. And it was only at the very beginning of June that they had announced that The Outer Worlds 2 was going to be their first confirmed $80 game, and they were talking about how excited they were and how this is a great opportunity because ultimately, while yeah, the price is going up, it's still going to launch straight onto Game Pass, and that's awesome, and you can play it that way if you don't want to buy an individual copy. But after all of that backlash, all of that media damage controlling, they are conceding that the Outer Worlds 2's retail price was too high. And I absolutely hate the way that they went about this because they posted this meme on social media acting like they were actually the good guys when they were the ones that made this decision in the first place. So as you can see, there's this big explosion. The Outer Worlds 2 walks in with the $80 pre-order price, and then they punch him in the face, and then it goes down to 70. Like, this is the worst post that you could make addressing this because you guys are the ones who decide these prices. It's like with Splitgate 2, they were initially charging $150 for a cosmetic bundle, and then when they realized that wasn't working, they slashed it to $50 overnight. You can put your game prices at whatever the heck you want. And I understand, like, companies ultimately are just out to make money and they want to make a profit, but people already were fighting back against the $69.99 price tag, never mind going up to $79.99. And that's not even considering special editions like deluxe editions or premium editions, right? Those are usually $99 and $129, meaning those would also be going up by $10. Like, of course, you're going to inevitably push people away with this decision. And I know that with Game Pass, people aren't going to really subscribe now in droves when a game doesn't come out for several months, but they still must have had some kind of number they needed to hit after this announcement, and they didn't hit it. Plus, with the pre-order figures, after about a month and a half looking rough, they decided, you know what, this is not a good decision to make. And some companies can get away with this, and some games can be raised to an $80 price tag. Look at what happened with, like, Nintendo. I mean, the Switch 2 had broken records by becoming the fastest selling console in the US, plus Mario Kart World was dominating sales charts, and it's doing really good. But people see the Outer Worlds 2, and they really just think Game Pass game. They're not thinking about it being a full-priced experience, and right now a lot of people don't even have a lot of faith or a lot of hope in Obsidian after Avowed. Avowed came out and it was just a really mediocre game all around. Was it the worst title I've ever played? No, but it definitely wasn't even close to being the best, and it did disappoint a lot of people. So after seeing their recent track record and then hearing that this was going to be $80, yeah, they faced a lot of backlash, and it's like they're hoping by lowering the price again, people people are going to praise them and forgive them, but I just don't see that being the case. They said we're focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and we'll keep our full-priced holiday releases, including the Outer Worlds 2 at $69, in line with current market conditions, an Xbox spokesperson explained in a statement to Windows Central. But this is still not going over well with them because gamers are roasting them for even initially making the decision to go for $80. And I'm glad that they're lowering the price. I'm glad that they're not actually pushing forward with this $80 price tag, but they shouldn't have made this decision in the first place. What a completely unnecessary shit show you guys have created, all thanks to greed. Now push it down to 60 and you got yourself a deal. Remember when they said video games would be cheaper when we went all digital since they don't have to pay for physical supply chain? Yeah, me too. LOL, it's not worth 70 either. How bad were the pre-orders? And at this point in time, we don't know the exact pre-order numbers, but you can deduce that they were pretty freaking bad given they lowered the price and really this quickly. I mean, we're still months away from the release, but we're talking about Obsidian and Xbox. You would think that this would have crazy numbers on Steam. So far, it's got 20,000 followers. It's number 86 in the wish lists and number 562 in the top sellers. 20,000 followers is all they've mustered in a month and a half since they showed this at the Xbox Game Showcase during Summer Games Fest. That is a pathetic figure. And yeah, this doesn't take the Xbox figures into account, but if it's only 20,000 here, I can't imagine it's like significantly higher over on Xbox. And just by trying to paint themselves as the good guys and the heroes in the situation, when they were the ones who tried to be so greedy, is just insane. Like, people are not going to magically forgive you or say, oh, it's okay, guys, they were just trying to scam us out of $80. Like, that's not going to happen. Microsoft and the feminists running Obsidian thought it would be a good idea to price woke slop at 80. Get woke, go broke. Gigantic W. The market just isn't ready for $80 games, and this was the wrong game to price that high. And I agree. I do think that there are some games that are worth 80. The problem is that most games are not worth this price tag. So while I would pay $80 for something, I don't know, like an Elden Ring, not every single game is going to be an Elden Ring. And that's why these companies were really waiting for GTA 6 to release so that hopefully Rockstar would have charged 80 and then they could have just piggybacked off that. But there were companies that felt emboldened because Nintendo actually did it. But I feel like the general consensus regarding Xbox is fuck Xbox and fuck Microsoft, and that they do not deserve a single penny more because they just haven't been delivering good experiences over the past couple of years. It's very different than how people view Nintendo, that's for sure. AKA, we tried at 80, but pre-orders are low, so we're gonna go to 70 and say we listened to you. Yeah, they always want to present it as they've actually listened to us and they care about our opinions when really they don't, or else they would have changed their minds 24 hours after they announced it was gonna be this price. Shit still isn't worth 70, especially when bangers are coming out at 40 to 60. Yeah, I mean, Liza P and Overture together is amazing. First Berserker Kazan is great. I know Wu Chang just came out. That's receiving a little bit of backlash because of the PC performance problems, but people generally like that content. Like, there are so many good games around that price tag, never mind considering what I think is a game of the decade contender, Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Still too expensive. Try again. $60 or no deal. No, still way too expensive for this trash. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this situation. I don't think that this is still going to go over very well for them. I mean, so far it isn't, but I feel with the low quality of games we've been getting from Xbox and even specifically Obsidian recently, I just don't see a way that people are going to be lining up to purchase this game. Maybe the people who like the first title will end up showing up for the second. I didn't hate the first game. I also didn't love it, and I definitely am not interested in paying $80 for a second one. Maybe not even 70. I'll probably just end up playing it through Game Pass like a lot of people are. But yeah, it's definitely looking bad for Xbox right now and for Obsidian. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.